Oh, hello everybody. Welcome to the show. Brand new. It is Friday the 13th weekend. And we're going to be talking about that box set of Friday the 13th. And of course, Star Trek. I'm not showing the new movie because I refuse to be ripped off. You have to get different copies to get all the different features. Like you have to go to Best Buy, you have to go to Target. So we got a lot on our plate. Hopefully everybody picked up the new Star Wars, the original screenplay by George Lucas. So we got a lot of things to talk about. I'm your host, Frankie's son. Please welcome my guest over here, Mark.
Hello, nice to see you all. Thanks, Frank, for the invite.
No problem. I'm glad you're here for the show because we got a lot to nitpick. He's basically, he's a fellow M&N producer, editor, and he has basically almost the same kind of views I have about Hollywood and everything. So Hollywood is going to get it twice tonight, okay? And, real quick, people are asking about the website. Very simple. You go to, use Google search. That's the best way. Just type in Videoland Express. And I'm just making sure the website is up there. There we go, real quick. This is the website. You're looking at the home page, okay? Once you type in Videoland Express on Google, you will see Videoland Express. There's a bunch of links on Google search. You don't have to worry about that because basically all those different searches for Videoland Express that's on Google, they on the front page over here. This is the main page and all the links right there. And just real quick, from top to bottom, YouTube, we have Frankie's son. We had a couple other YouTube channels. Those are being shut down eventually, so that's going to be our main site. Now you can reach me at Twitter. Now that account has been out for 2 or 3 years. I really didn't utilize it the way it should, but now that you can email me, send me trivia, questions, anything on the Twitter account. Blog Talk Radio, we did the premiere, and now we're going to have a follow-up show coming this week, okay? And then below that, my daily blog spot. If you want to get any kind of details and information on a daily basis, that's going to be like the main page. Every day I put up articles, what I'm letting you know what I'm going to do these shows and stuff like that. And the last one in the bottom is SoundCloud. Frankie's son. That's the music site that I'm putting all original music composed by me. You heard the opening theme song. That's me writing everything on GarageBand and Mixcraft, which is actually for the PC. Anyway, let's go back to the show. Okay, now let's start with Friday the 13th, the box set. Okay, now there is the Crystal Lake Memories. That's a special documentary done by the guys who did Nightmare on Elm Street. It's almost like a 7-hour documentary about the whole history of Friday the 13th. That one is a 2 Blu-ray, 2 DVD disc. That is the one that's really getting the good vibes, the good ratings. Highly recommended. Like I said, the guys who did Nightmare on Elm Street, who did a great job on that franchise, did this franchise, and that's getting like really good reps on internet. Now, the problem is, on the box set of all 12 movies, there's a lot of stuff that is missing. Apparently, if you have the 2004 box set, they're saying hold on to that because it has a lot of commentaries that did not cross over onto the Blu-ray, which made no sense. And also, some of the movies, the features, they had some edits. And basically, there was more violent scenes in some of the movies, and they were cut down. I think the big complaint is Jason X. That was a good maybe 10 minutes. More bloody, more graphic sex and all that stuff. And all that stuff was just butchered right out of the movie. And then that did not get included in the box set, on the Blu-ray special. And a lot of fans are ticked off about that, especially when the price tag is almost $120. If you want to get a complete review, see DVDtalk.com. As a whole review on all the movies and all the bonus features and everything that's not on it, okay? Like the missing commentaries. Okay, and then now, me and Mark here, we're going to be talking about Star Trek. Now, like I said, I didn't show, I'm showing the first movie, okay? I refuse to get the second movie because a lot of the bonus features, for example, you get 40 minutes, whichever version you get, the DVD, the Blu-ray, there's 40 minutes of special features. But to get additional features, you have to buy one set of Best Buy that has like another half hour of bonus features. Target, there's like another hour over there. So you would have to actually buy it twice. And then on top of that, there's no commentary. You have to go to iTunes to get the commentary by J.J. Abrahams. I mean, that's a real screw job. And main reason people are asking me why they're doing that. Well, it's very simple. The main reason they're doing that is basically so you can, double dip if you're supposedly a real big Star Trek fan. And also because they know they're double dipping now because eventually in a couple of years, thanks to Netflix and everything's going directly to the internet, and all this physical Blu-ray, DVD packaging is going to be obsolete and it's going to disappear. Right now, the sales are really off on the whole DVD network. A lot of, you go to the stores and then, like Best Buy, I go to the one in the Village in New York City, and you can see tumbleweeds going down up and down the aisles. The stores are empty, okay, and that stuff not selling. I know you're a big Star Trek fan.
No, I was usually a big Star Wars fan, but
okay.
I could see that the Star Wars franchise, I think we were talking about earlier, should probably make its way back to television, or whatever new modem it's going to go, in the new mode it's going to go into the internet.
Right.
Watching it, streaming it through the internet, Netflix, or watching it through Google or Amazon. I think that's going to be the next way it's going to go.
Right. What was it? One of those sci-fi features, Roger Corman, I think, what was it? It wasn't Sharknado. Crocodile versus Dino Shark. And on the commentary on the disc, he had a moderator. And the moderator asked Roger Corman, what do you think is going to happen to the future of cinema, of theaters? And he just said, listen, it's all going to the internet. First, they took all these B-movies that I used to make back in the 70s and 80s. And he goes all the way back to the 50s and 60s. I said, they took all the whole concept of B-movies, and now they're making them into $200 million productions. Okay, so they stole my whole industry. That's why he started producing movies again for the Sci-Fi Channel to really make bad B movies. And his tradition, he said, well, I had no other choice. They took the whole B-movie concept and make all these big budget movies, and a lot of them are bombing, and that's what's, a lot of people are staying away from the theaters, and the numbers are really way off. No, don't mind what Hollywood is telling you and Box Office Mojo. Oh, movie came out number one. Number one doesn't mean anything anymore. And Roger Corman said, well, they stole my concept of B-movies. They're making big, nobody really cares, and eventually the audience is going to dwindle. And he said himself, right at the very end of the quote, what's going to happen after that? He said, everything's going to the internet.
Yeah, I think Steven Spielberg was a big advocate, saying that all these major, in the beginning of the summer or the beginning of this year, he was saying that all the major movies, the major blockbusters, are all going to tank, and we're going to see a huge depression upon these blockbusters being made, and they're all going to tank, and we're all going to have to go back to dramas and I guess indie films.
Well, Indian films are really making a big dent. For example, The Butler. That was an independent picture. They really had a hard time trying to get that off the ground for years. And of course, Hollywood said, okay, let's Disney, let's give Johnny Depp and Jerry Bruckheimer $250 million to make a Western, a remake of Lone Ranger. Like anybody was asking for that. And why is a Western costing over $100 million? You can make a good Western for $50 million nowadays. Mm-hmm. So what's happening? A lot of the low-budget films are trying to sneak in there. And there was a big, there was a couple articles, and there was one video done by Kevin Spacey. If maybe you want to check that on YouTube. And he said all the good drama and all the independent features are going to cable. As simple as that. For example, he was saying that Hollywood studios making a pilot will cost anywhere from $10 to $20 million, and they will produce about 135 pilots. Only 30 of them will actually get green-lighted to be a series, and then after that, maybe only 3 to 5 of the shows will actually make it to the end of the year. I'm not exactly what the numbers are, and Kevin Spacey said, listen, forget about a pilot, give me the money up front, I'll give you a whole year worth of supply of episodes. Okay, 10, 12 is what the mandatory now is on for like Showtime, Dexter, True Blood. They're about 10 to 12 episodes. Right. And so Kevin Spacey, just give me the money up front and I give you a whole season. And boom, the thing is House of Cards is a huge hit.
Yeah, Orange is the New Black.
There you go.
They have 12 to 13 episodes right up on Netflix.
Right. Now, was anybody talking about the movies in July and August? That everybody know that, Pacific Rim, people said it was going to be a bomb, and thanks to China, it's $400 million. That's a rare bird. Men of Steel, they wanted to make sure they made over $1 billion, and they now they have to save face by bringing Batman to the equation because it only made $600 million. Now, people say, well, $600 million is a lot of money. Yeah, but it's embarrassing where a piece of crap like Iron Man 3 makes over $1 billion. So does Batman, and Superman is supposed to be the big iconic movie, and it doesn't cross the $1 billion mark. And George Lucas and Spielberg said all the good talent is going over to cable. Okay, like I was saying, besides Men of Steel, look what happened. Despicable Me is going to make $900 million worldwide, a cartoon that is a sequel. Was anybody else talking about anything? Does anybody remember anything in August that came out? Anybody? No? Anything? No, because everybody's talking about Breaking Bad. Why is everybody talking about Breaking Bad and nobody's talking about anything for the summer? Okay? The big spiel that people will, Ben Affleck is going to be the next Batman, that's going to suck. But nobody's talking about the rest of the season. Is anybody really bringing up Hunger Games? Is anybody really looking forward to the next Hobbit, Part 2? No. Everybody wants to know what's going to happen at the final episode of Breaking Bad. Me, personally, I'm waiting for the final episode of Dexter. Yes. And that's what's going on the internet. That's getting more vibe, more hits, more conversation than a lot of these major movies. You know, they're just standing still. I mean, we're waiting for a phone call to access. Do you really went out of your way to get the Blu-ray of Star Trek, or you couldn't care less?
Yeah, it was a summer blockbuster season. All that, what it was really crapped up to be. Who was spending all this money to see these movies in the summer?
Right.
Superman, like they said, it was a big, to me, it was a big failure. They should have stopped remaking these movies and just started a new movie. Before I was telling you, Frank, how I thought that they should have gone directly to Batman versus Superman instead of trying to remake the first two Superman movies and compile them together, because I think we're all tired of these remakes and we want new ideas. Start, like they say, start coming up with these ideas out of a box, instead of like rehashing the same old stuff. It's just like giving you the breakfast sandwich in a whole different way. It's the same garbage. We're tired of it. Move on. Let's go in. Let's see what else you have.
But that's the problem with Hollywood. They don't want to take any chances. They're afraid.
No, they're like Apple. Let's, instead of coming up with something new, instead of coming up with Google Glasses, let's come up with Apple 1, 2, 3, 4, iPhone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can't come out of a box.
Well, you were telling me about what a bad idea was the iPhones, and a couple of days later, the stock actually went down. Because especially the stockholders are really disappointed. That's the best you had was another iPhone.
Yeah.
What's it? The iPhone 5C or something like that.
The 5S and the 5C. All these people are dying in ideas. They don't have any new ideas. They're pretty much rehashing the same old ideas, and that's why a lot of these companies are suffering. That's why Hollywood is suffering. That's why people in Universal, for the longest time, they were suffering, and they had to keep selling it and losing money and profits. Because they don't have no new ideas, new inventive ideas. They're afraid to come up with anything new. They're afraid if I come up with anything new and we lose money, that person who came up with any new ideas will get fired. So that's why we're not going to see anything new. That's why everyone's literally going into the internet.
There you go. I mean, for example, like a Disney with Lone Ranger, a couple of people lost their spots, their parking spots, Yeah, I mean, this is some serious stuff. And again, they let's get an old property, reboot it like Star Trek, Now, the third movie is going to go into, they're going to cover they're going to finish the trilogy, supposedly. This is what, from what I've been hearing. They're going to finish the trilogy with the Klingons, fine. But the second movie ended where they're going to go on a 5-year mission. Now, I personally think Star Trek should go back on TV, and there's a big thing on the internet about that. At the deal that J.J. Abrams made with Paramount at that particular time, he said, okay, I'm going to give you a trilogy. Now, the third movie is not directing, but he's still producing it on this corporate banner called Bad Robot Corporation. And the deal was that as long as I'm producing these movies for you guys, and it's a successful reboot thing, and, it was his idea of rebooting a young crowd. Should I say, a young cast and rebooting Star Trek, alternate universe, but the actual concept about that was done by Harv Bennett. He was the producer of the original Star Trek Wrath of Khan with William Shatner. And he said, listen, I got an idea. How about we do, you Star Trek fans know this already, police. It's like a police academy. Starfleet Academy, how Star Trek, Captain Kirk met Spock, met McCoy, how the whole crew got stuck together. Harv Bennett never got credited for that. I believe there was a novel on that. J.J. Abraham comes, hey, listen, I got a good idea. Let's do a young crew that gets together for the first time at the academy, but we'll do it in an alternate universe. Okay, so that idea was not original to begin with. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then of course bringing this the whole Spock in thing, the original. Well, what's his name again?
Which one? Captain Kirk?
Spock.
The person who played Spock?
Right.
I don't even remember his name anymore. Leonard
Thank
Nimoy.
you.
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you. Like to thank an engineer helping us out over here with the show here. You know, and the shtick is getting worn out, but because J.J. Abrams under his corporate banner of Bad Robots, the deal was not to do a TV show. And Bryan Singer has been waiting in the wings for a long time. He's a big Star Trek fan. He's a fan fan. And you can find him in the movie Nemesis. He's right at right at the very end before the whole Enterprise crashes with the other alien ship. You see him as one of the. Well, he's on the deck. What do you call it? The console. The helmsman, right? And you see him going right out the window in Nemesis. So he's been a Star Trek fan for the longest, and he actually made a treatment for a pilot episode of having a brand new crew doing the Enterprise. I think the variation maybe was like 50 years ahead, after the Next Generation. And J.J. Abrams put a stop to everything. So now when I'm making these movies, there's gonna be no TV franchise, nothing until I'm done with this. Hopefully, after the third movie, his contract gets canceled. Go to your Star Wars, because he said himself, the only reason Star Trek was so successful as far as the rebooting, it was the writers. If you listen to the commentary on the box set of the original movies, the both writers of the new Star Trek, I forget which movie in the box set, the Wrath of Khan, Such a Spock, Resurrection, the final, they are one of those commentaries, and you could tell these guys love their Star Trek, they know the history, and that's why the new Star Trek reboot was so successful, because these guys knew the whole Star Trek, mythology. Compared to J.J. Abrams, he just went by the script, and all he did was supersize the movie, movie on steroids. Basically, he's a big Star Wars fan, which he admitted himself. Now, good. Now, get out of the way and go Star Wars and stay there. Now, once they do the trilogy, hopefully they cancel the contract with Bad Robots, his corporation banner, whatever, and hopefully they'll go to back to the TV show and have introduced a new crew, and after a couple of years, 7 seasons, they can go back to the movies. You know, Star Trek needs a new blood. That's what I feel about it.
Yeah, because it's true. It's true about most movies. Most movies and most TV shows, it's a marriage between the writers and the actors. Now, if you don't care about the actors and the writers are no good, then the movies, of course, it's going to be a flop. I'm sad to say, the second Star Trek movie, I seen it. It was really like Frozen. It was really robotic. I didn't really much care about what happened to Captain Kirk.
Right.
In the TV series, you cared about him. He had a personality, like a feeling, like a warmth, that you said, hey, I'm going to follow this guy. I can be Captain Kirk. This new guy that they have seems so wooden, so frozen, so robotic, that I don't care. Hey, you can kill him off for all I care. And why remake the Wrath of Khan? Why didn't you do something different? Like the Wrath of Khan was good because the person they had playing Khan was great.
Ricardo
Montalban. He was an excellent villain, excellent actor. You can't hire an excellent actor and just make up a villain. You have to actually say, oh no, he's the original Wrath of Khan, and we have to remake that. It's because these characters that they have are so wooden, so two-dimensional that I don't care about them.
Well, first of all, they touch what's considered the best movie of all the whole Star Trek franchise is Wrath of Khan. So that was like sacrilege. Right. And you got so many other stories to tell that you can reboot from the original TV series. Since you're rebooting the whole franchise to begin with, you can go into another story that was done in the TV show and continue from that. Then Wrath of Khan was a continuation of Space Seed, one of the original episodes. And you got like over 70 episodes. They could have touched the concept over there. Okay, if not, introduce something that we haven't seen in the big screen, the Cardassians. Okay, bring them up to the big screen. What are we gonna get? They're Klingons again. You know, yeah. So they're kind of milking the franchise with that, and that's what we're talking about. You know, the branding of a franchise, and they want to stick to that, and that's what's bringing the whole quality down. Okay, and Roger Corman said himself that, you know, I used to make B movies, and now they took that job away from me. That's why I'm back on Sci-Fi Channel making even worse movies. Now all these glorified $200 million productions, which are B movies. This is stuff they used to see back when we were growing up. They had ABC movie, 4:30 movie of the week before there was even Oprah, and you had all these classic TV shows, okay. And then of course they would show all these B movies, but they were good B movies. But now they take Saturday morning cartoons, right, and like Transformers, and they make them into $200 million productions. They take all these other B movies and stuff that, okay, like J.J. Abrams, he's a big Steven Spielberg fan, okay, fine. So he's copying a lot of his techniques and everything. But I always say, if you, like, let's pick a music group, Led Zeppelin. Everybody knew Led Zeppelin, the first two albums, they just ripped off all the old blues, but they got credited for it. Steven Spielberg and Lucas, they grew up in the black and white serials, back out the, Flash Gordon.
Right.
So I forget the titles, but there was so many.
Tarzan.
Right. And what they did was
Mandrake, all those.
Right, thank you. And they took all those movies and they just, they redid those movies. Like Indiana Jones was based on the old serials.
And when Steven Spielberg, like they say, there's this great documentary on Netflix. It's called Mogul. I recommend you see that. And they bring these concepts. Spielberg brought these old concepts into a new format to Universal, and Universal basically shot him down. They said, "What? No one's going to want to see Star Wars. Get out of here with that." Or, "No, nobody wants to see Indiana Jones. That's what I grew up in the 30s. Forget that. That's a stupid idea." And they basically laughed him out of the studio, out of Universal.
Right. And of course, he went to have the last laugh, of course.
Yeah.
Same thing like George Lucas. He made American Graffiti for Universal, which was a huge hit back then. Yeah. And then he said, "Listen, I got Star Wars. I get you and your space fence to get out of here."
Get out of here.
Until you had to bring it to, you had to bring
Fox.
it to Fox. And only because Alan Ladd Jr., whose father was Alan Ladd, who grew up on westerns. Okay, Alan Ladd was a famous a movie personality. He was up there like John Wayne. Okay, he used to do all these cowboy movies, and his son grew up on the studio lots. Okay, and he grew up with movies. So when he saw the concept of Star Wars, he said, "Oh yeah, this is just some cowboys and Indians out of space." He got the concept. He gave the money to George Lucas, $10 million, and boom, next thing you know, it's all about the merchandise and branding.
Right. Yeah. And other things, if they want to reboot things that haven't been touched in so long, I would suggest Ridley Scott's movie, what was it called, Blade Runner, if you want to do that. Or bring Hellboy back to television. Mm-hmm. Write it about the Hellboy, like they did the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. What's the name of the organization? BD...
I forget,
BDRB. They should bring that to television. I think this, and plus this Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. nonsense, I think it's gonna flop, to tell you the truth.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. It's beginning to smell right on the screen.
Well, it's funny because it's gonna have a fanboy base. Okay, fine, that's fine.
Yeah, but I think it's because of television. Television has lost its edge, and it should probably go into the internet. Anything the TV touches, it dies. It has no edge.
It's got to go to Showtime or HBO or something like that, or straight to Netflix.
Internet, straight to Netflix, straight to Amazon, straight to Google Plus. Forget cable. Cable's another thing that's dying. It's all going into the internet. Television is dying. Just bring these shows with their edge to the internet.
Right. I mean, television ratings, you hear about, they had 8 million viewers. We go from all the way back to the old school. And the last episode of a classic TV show called MASH, and the ratings was about 120 million. The only thing that gets over 100 million ratings is the Super Bowl. And not even the World Series was getting that kind of ratings. The last ratings was really bad. I mean, nobody even remembers which team was in the World Series.
The Super Bowl. Super Bowl, World Series.
No, but the Super Bowl always gets the ratings, but nothing else compares to that. American Idol, that was always 20 million at least, and now that it's gone way below 10 million.
It could shoot back up. I think most of these shows will shoot back, because the internet, for some reason or other, has an edge to it. They see that there is pretty much no censorship on the internet.
Right.
But there is some kind of some kind of thing that looms over television that gives you a sense that what you're watching has been sanitized and has no edge.
Okay, we have a quick phone call.
Yes, caller.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Okay.
I really enjoyed your show tonight. You guys are really working well together. I love your set. It's really nice background you got there. Keep up the good work, you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Do you have any comments you would like to make?
Well, basically.
Okay, that's his comments.
Okay, basically.
He likes the decor.
Basically, we're running out of time. Yeah, I kind of like reformatted the show. I'm going to be going back on Black Talk Radio with my other hosts, but like this show is every 2 weeks, and then I'm going to see if Mark would be nice enough to come back again because we really have a good conversation and stuff like that. And the Black Talk Radio, we're going to have my other co-host KJ, but we are going to be taking other not only phone callers, and we're going to have the chat room open, but we're also going to have other guest hosts help me out with the show. Basically, we're going to be back in two more weeks, okay, live. Don't forget the website. Don't forget Twitter. That's so. You got any questions? Please send me that info, and I'll be able to read it on the show. And Black Talk Radio is now going to go on live, starting in October. We're going to have 2 more specials. And it's going to be on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. That's going to be the official timings. But I'm going to do 1 more special, and then KJ is going to do a special with me. And then October, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. we're going to go live, and we're going to take on phone callers, and we're still going to continue with the show all the way to the end of the year. Any last words?
Yes, I have a lot of last words. So you think we're saying that television's dying?
Yes.
I'm giving it about 10 years. We're saying cable's dying. And what do you think about theater maybe going on its way, and maybe most of our shows are going to be broadcast through Google Glasses? Most of our movies, too.
Why not? I mean, everything is shrinking, and this is what Hollywood does not want you, they don't want to let the cat out of the bag.
Yep.
It is a dying industry, and it's getting remorphed all over again.
The movie industry is taking terrible. My movie experience is awful.
Yeah, I mean, this summer I saw way too many movies, and if you listen to the Black Talk Radio, it sounded like I was ready to quit. Let me tell you, I'm not going to cover the way I did. I walked into a movie theater, and
did you walk back out?
No, because I had the whole theater to myself. It was empty. The Denzel Washington movie, Two Guns. There was only 10 people on a Friday night.
Wow.
In the theater. I said, why bother going to the movies? I wait 4 months to be on DVD, be on Netflix in about 6 months.
And you yell at somebody to turn off their cell phone because they keep tweeting somebody that they're watching a movie.
Oh, they do that in concerts. Now, that's so annoying. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Now, that's his company that he owns.